Hello, Seahawks fans, 12's, 12th man, the Seahawks Nation. This is the 12 for 12 show. You're here with Paul Beyer. Boy, we got a jam-packed show to talk about all the 12 topics from this past week and looking ahead. Going to be joined later by a fantastic, very special guest in Chuck McGowan. Chuck is the creator of the 12th Fan View. Used to be on YouTube, but now it's exclusively available through Seahawks.com. And we're going to be talking about his awesome videos he does, the 12th Fan View, that are posted on Seahawks.com. Fascinated to hear his story and how this all came about for the 12's, and I'm sure you guys have all enjoyed it as well. So bring Chuck in here. Chuck, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Paul?
Fantastic. Well, heck, after last weekend, I guess I have nothing to worry about. This team's golden, right?
Oh, yeah, man. My heart didn't I didn't need a CPR or anything during the game, so definitely a step in the right direction.
Exactly. Well, before we jump into talking a little bit about the 12th Fan View and breaking down some of the issues with the team, really no issues, but just talking about the team, why don't you tell the 12's and the audience out there a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm about 50 years old these days, and I moved up here from Texas, where I was an Army brat, but I pretty much grew up in Texas, and moved up here as soon as I got out of high school in the early 80s, and first NFL game I ever went to was the Seahawks' first playoff game back in 1983, and that pretty much cemented my Seahawks fanship right there for life. And, been a season ticket holder for about 10 years now. I took a couple of years off because whatever reason, and that happened to be 2005. Yeah. So I missed 2005. And my nephew's the guy I go into the games with on the tickets. He kept those seats, and he got pulled in the lottery and went to the Super Bowl, which, by the way, was held on my birthday that year.
So did you get to go, or did he just go?
No, he went with the guy that took my place in my seat.
Oh, ram farts.
Yeah, well, I've been a Seahawks fan for about 30 years now, and before that I was a Viking fan when I first started because that's who my parents cheered for.
Oh, there you go. I was going to ask you how you did not become a Cowboys fan, being that you moved here from Texas, but obviously it goes with your parents.
Yeah, I was an Army brat, so that's just where that last place my dad was in the Army at, and that's where he stayed.
There you go. Well, let's get in a little bit about the 12th Fan View. I think it's really cool what you do. The process and how you go about filming it, I think, is very interesting. I know I want to know a little bit about it. But why don't you tell everybody out there, one, how it started, where the idea came from, and, how is it done?
Well, the idea came from when I was a little kid. I used to watch NFL films on the Saturday. It ain't like it is now, You didn't have ESPN 24 hours a day. You had very little coverage. So, I really loved what I saw from NFL films, and I always wanted to get a camera and make my own movies, but that never happened for whatever reason.
Steve Sable Jr., huh?
So eventually when I got older and could do it myself, I got myself a camera, and I started thinking, when I started going back to the games, I was like, maybe I can sneak this in and get some video. And so I did, and put it up on YouTube, and nothing ever happens. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I could put a whole movie together about this thing and see what happens. And so I did, and some of them got taken down, and some of them didn't. Then in 2010, I said, I just need to start doing this as like a weekly thing and doing them weekly and making some cohesion between them, and make them kind of follow some kind of pattern. So I kind of fell into what I still do. So, and I guess you don't mess with something that works because people love it. I get nothing but positive reviews about it, so that's pretty cool. But, it films itself, I get on the boat, I film myself talking about what I expect to happen, go to the game, maybe some tailgating or whatever beforehand.
Cheerleaders, all that.
Cheerleaders, sure. Whatever's there.
Well, but the last one.
Then it just comes down to editing it and figuring out what works and what don't, and should get rid of this, should get rid of that, and that's pretty much it.
Well, how much time does the editing take you?
Well, I'm pretty much busy. I take Mondays at work off, so I can.
Who doesn't?
Edit
Edit
all day Monday.
Yeah.
And then I go to work and come back home from 5 till about midnight on Tuesday and 5 till midnight on Wednesday.
There you go.
Because it's just slow and tedious. Editing film is very slow, and I got to tweak it a little bit so it looks a little better. And
well, it looks fantastic. I mean, what kind of camera do you use for it? I was wondering. That's one of the things I thought about. I was like, is he using a pad or what's he doing? I mean, it looks really good.
It's a little handheld Sony, about the size of my fist.
Okay.
Maybe a little bigger, and with the battery I got on there to last a few hours, it's a little bigger. But yeah, it's a Sony. It's about 3 years old now, so it's ancient in the world of video cameras. They don't even make them. They hardly make them anymore.
They shoot good. It shoots good. Well, okay. So getting back to you started doing this back in early before 2010, but now you're working with the Seahawks. So how did that all come about? And before that, did you have problems getting the camera into the games? Did they ever think about taking it from you?
Well, to answer your first question first, it came about kind of oddly. After the first year of actually doing it weekly, 2010, after that playoff game, I was like, man, I can't top what I just witnessed, so I'm just going to call it quits. And, after that beast mode run, I mean, that was awesome.
I already knew where you were going. Beastquake, yep.
So I just said, I looked into the camera and I said, I ain't going to do it again next year. And then I got the emails. The emails started coming, oh, come on, man, keep doing it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I wasn't going to if it was just, random dude. But I started getting emails from guys in Afghanistan and Iraq,
Mm-hmm,
and I was like, well, I remember what it was like being on a boat out in the middle of nowhere, not getting a score for a week,
Yep.
So I was like, okay, for those guys, I'll do it. So I did 2011, and that was a hard year to do.
Oh, yeah.
But, I did it. And then after 2011, obviously started having some copyright issues with the NFL, so they were contacting YouTube, telling YouTube to take down certain videos. And after that, I had one that I uploaded, and a couple days later it was taken down. I was just like, you know what? It ain't going to be worth it anymore if this is what's going to happen. So I put it out there that I am done now for sure. That's what's going to happen. So somebody got a hold of the Seahawks or somebody pointed them my direction, or they had been watching me or whatever. I don't know. But they contacted me and said, basically, we like what you're doing. Keep doing it, and we'll host the videos. And I was like, okay. I'll do it.
That is awesome. The fact that it starts with the reason you got motivated to do this is from the people, the 12's, that aren't necessarily close to home. They're out there serving our country, especially after yesterday. I think that means a lot.
Yep.
I think it's awesome what you do. I think the time, obviously, you put a lot of time into it. And as a person who's also a fanatic, I'd say, when you're filming up there, and I guess, are you doing all of it by yourself, or who else is holding the camera?
That's just me, man. I'm a one-man crew. I do it all. I shoot, I edit, I do whatever. The only thing I don't do is actually direct what's going on.
Do the people that you sit around have any issue with it? Obviously, they don't have much, I assume.
Generally speaking, they can't hear me, Just if I'm talking into the camera, they can't hear me for the most part, unless we're on offense, in which case I'm not going to be that loud. I don't need to be. But they don't seem to have a problem with it. The people behind me, they're really good folks, and everybody around me, I think, rolls with it pretty well now that I've been doing it for a few years.
It's definitely cool. Sometimes people don't like getting caught on tape, having a cocktail or two at a game,
Hey, man, you could be on national TV having a cocktail.
Well, after that San Francisco game earlier this year, I know that many a fan were definitely had a cocktail or two. So let's talk this. You obviously been going to games for quite a few years. Of the games you covered by filming them and the 12 fan view, what was your favorite experience doing it, and what was your least favorite experience doing it?
Well, for the ones that I've actually covered, I'd have to say it was the 2010 playoff game.
Beastquake?
I mean, Beastquake. That was a good one. Although last year's 49ers game, the Smackdown Part 1, was pretty good.
And what about least favorite?
The least favorite one had to be 2010 Giants game, 42-7. I think that was a Charlie Whitehurst game.
Touchdown Jesus. Yep.
I know he got his first touchdown pass on that game, but it was like 42-0 at the time.
Didn't the Giants? I remember that game. It was a beautiful sunny day. Didn't the Giants defense have more touchdown receptions before we had one in that game?
I've forgotten all the different ways they scored that day.
It was definitely not.
I think they wrote some new rules so you can't score that way anymore. It was that bad.
I've immortalized Charlie Whitehurst as touchdown Jesus. It's every time I see him, I just, there's touchdown Jesus. Okay, yep. So now that you've been a fan for many years, and you obviously, I saw the last video you did, and you were obviously around the 83 players, and I remember you going around and just almost like a school kid remembering them, and I thought that was super cool. But in your span of time being a fan, what's your greatest memory of being a fan in this organization?
Well, without question, it was winning the 2005 NFC Championship. When that game ended, and it's like, we're going to the Super Bowl finally. That was the feeling. Now I want to feel that next feeling, and I think we might be onto something here. I don't know.
I think you're right about that. It's there's so many memories I have in that stadium of just awesome, special things. And when I say stadium, I know there's the Kingdome, but Quest, C-Link, whatever you want to call it now. I mean, that Tony Romo game sticks in my grind. When he fumbled the snap. Again, that was awesome.
I was there for that one. I was not there for the 2005 NFC Championship game. Remember, I gave away my tickets that year. Yep.
I won't rub that one in.
I keep. Believe me, I flog myself enough. Okay.
So when we talk about this show I have here, it's 12 topics for the 12th man, 12's. Obviously, I don't want to use the 12th man because I don't want to get Texas A&M calling me up. But
that's why I'm 12th fan view.
See, we're smart guys. We think ahead. So let me ask you this, Chuck. In your definition, in your mind, what's so unique about our 12s, our 12th man, and how do you define being one?
I really don't have a definition for being a 12. I mean, if you root for the Seahawks, you're a 12. Everybody roots for football. Everybody roots differently. However you want to root for it. It's all good with me. Just don't be that rude jerk.
That's right. And,
nobody likes him.
I mean, I've gone to a lot of games, obviously, in my life as a season ticket holder, and you as well. But I've been to other stadiums. And I went to that 2006 game in Soldier Field. Talk about ugly. Soldier Field, that's about as bad as they can get with a opposing fan base. They were just downright mean, but we still survived. It's nice being a big guy, I can tell you that much. But
it helps.
Do you find that? Do you see that happening at CenturyLink? Because I sure as heck don't. And it's just one of those things.
I don't see violence. I mean, you see alcohol-fueled spats that get out of control, right? I see that on occasion.
Right.
I mean, you're always going to have the drunk person. You're always going to have the drunk. That's universal throughout the NFL. But last year I had 49er fans sitting behind me. I treated them excellently. For the Romo game, I had a Cowboy fan sitting next to me. And believe me, for me to have a Cowboy fan sitting next to me, and because where I grew up, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was like, oh, God, got to be nice to this guy. But I was, because that's how I was raised.
Yeah, I think Seahawks fans are about as mild-mannered and nice. I mean, when I say mild-mannered, noise is one thing, but just very respectful. And, it's just you're going to sometimes run into jerks, and it's just what it is. But it's definitely not it's definitely not like some of the other venues in the NFL. Okay, we're going to have to move on. Take some time, if you don't mind, to share with everybody how they can follow you, where they can find the video, obviously on Seahawks.com, but every place that people can find Chuck McGowan and stay a part of your day-to-day routine as a 12th man.
Well, the day-to-day routine 12th man stuff is at Facebook.com/12thfanview. That's 12 with a number TH, fanview. And Twitter.com/12fanview is the same. I really don't do Twitter all that much, though, because I usually have more than 140 characters that I want to express. and I don't get all the hashtags and @ symbols and all that stuff, so I don't know. I don't do Twitter too much.
And then all your content is available only on the Seahawks site, right?
That is correct. Well, some stuff I shoot will find its way onto the onto the Facebook site where I can have videos and such, but not like total game videos like the stuff on the Seahawks website, which I usually try to have out by Thursday afternoon, published on the website by Thursday afternoon after following a home game. Obviously, after the Monday night game, it's going to take a little bit longer. That'll probably be like Friday or Saturday or maybe even the next Monday. I don't know. I'll try to have it done. I'll try to get it done quick, but it's going to take some time. But
you're going to have to do some more graphics.
I wish I could give a link to the Seahawks website and say this is my place on the Seahawks website, but they don't do it that way. They just roll it through the news line. So once it's gone off the front page, it's gone off the front page. So you just kind of have to search the Seahawks website for 12th Fan View if you don't see it right there, if you want to watch it.
Or they could always go to my links page because I do have your link on there with the Seahawks every time it goes up. I put it on there on my aggregator. So
excellent. Thank you.
I'll help the audience and you, Chuck, and the Seahawks. So, well, again, Chuck, thanks so much. I wanted to ask you about the music. We got so into everything. Yeah. Real quick, who does the music for your videos? It's
some friends of mine that I know from around here where I live in Bremerton, Kitsap County. They're called Steelscape. And they play some pretty good progressive metal rock stuff. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I love it. I told you I'm into back in the day 80s rock, and I know it's a little different, but it's good stuff. I noticed it right away when I was listening to your videos. Like, I love the music. So give your boy Steelscape some applause from Paul. And thanks again, Chuck. Really appreciate you being on. I'm going to take a quick break, come back and finish the show. But everybody follow Chuck and everything he's doing because this is what it means to be a 12. He's following the code to give you guys everything he can, and the information is fantastic. So thanks again, Chuck, okay?
Hey, thanks for having me on, Paul. It's been great talking to you, man.
You bet. You take care, Chuck.